Bowie, Super Coach, coming to you this morning with my top 3 tips on what to include in your set to sell meeting for an auction listing. This set to sell meeting should take place 24 to 48 hours prior to going live. Number 1, communication. So critical. The only reason there's friction in any relationship between the agent and the vendor is a lack of communication. And usually the main reason you don't sell a property, especially when you have a great offer either at or prior to auction, is because you haven't built enough evidence of effort and evidence of communication. Because how often do we hear, Adrian, you've worked so hard, I understand this is not exactly what I wanted, but it's close, and how can I question the process when you've met with me every week and you've contacted me every day and you've provided 2 weekly reports? So at the set to sell, what do? You literally lock in a weekly calendar invite recurring on the spot at a time that suits them. Why is this important? Well, you think about it. If you're the vendor and you go live on a Thursday and you don't have a time to meet your agent either the following week on a Monday or Tuesday, that's very strange in my opinion. Why? Because how would the owner know when they're going to have an opportunity to have a conversation with you? Sure, you might bump into them at the open for inspection, but maybe you won't. So critical that the owner knows at the end of that set to sell meeting that they've got a meeting locked in every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, for example, and nothing festers, nothing is able to get out of control during the campaign. They're going to sit down with you and have a business conversation about whether the campaign is on or off track. Number 2, have a conversation about publishing the price guide. I cannot tell you how important this is. REA just came out with a stat saying that over 70% of people dismiss properties that do not have a published price guide. It's absolutely insanity not including a published price guide. A great strategy if you want to dismiss 3/4 of your market. A terrible strategy if you want to do the right thing by your client and also have a point of difference in the marketplace for your buyers, because I guarantee you, if you interview 100 buyers, all qualified, and ask all 100 of them, would you prefer to see a published price guide or no published price guide? I guarantee you 100 out of 100 will say a published price guide. Now, I hear all these crazy stories from agents that they make up in their own head saying, oh yeah, but then I get data and then, I may have got the price guide wrong. Well, great, because this is a perfect opportunity for you to get the price guide right before going to launch and have a pragmatic and intelligent conversation with your client about getting the price guide right and ensuring that you don't wait to have that conversation either never or the day before the auction when it's too late. So the other point I hear is, oh yeah, but this way I can get to copy and paste and respond on email. And I'm like, well, that's insanity. When's the last time you called your database or past appraisals or past clients? I don't have time to do that. Well, maybe stop doing copy and paste on price guides and stop being both the receptionist and the CEO of your EBU, which a lot of these agents are, because 9 times out of 10, the buyer is only ringing you for a price guide. So why wouldn't you provide the consumer what they really want? And let me tell you, your competition is no longer other real estate agents. Your competition is transparent economies that the consumer or the buyer is engaging with on a daily basis, including eBay, including Uber Eats, including booking a flight. And guess what? All of them have the prices readily available and they're fully transparent, they're easy to do business, and they're quick to do business. So if you aren't publishing price guides, it means you're difficult to do business with, and it means you're not quick to do business with, and it means you're not transparent. So absolutely insanity if you're not having that conversation as part of the set to sell meeting. The number 3 is have a conversation with the owner whether we are open to offers prior to auction or not. We all know that as soon as the open for inspection start, anyone who takes a contract or expresses any degree of interest in the property, what is the first question they ask you? Will the owner sell prior to auction or not? And I hear all this rubbish response where it's like, oh, we're going to see what happens in the first 2 weeks and we'll let you know. That's not what buyers want to hear. I mean, throughout my entire career, this was such a critical and important conversation I had with my client, and I had complete clarity about my response. So my response was either, Adrian, thank you for asking. In fact, I had this conversation with my client only a few days ago, and my client is open to offers, and we're treating this auction very much as a process, almost like a hybrid, if you like, between private treaty and auction. And the good news is they are open to offers. Now, they've provided me instructions on how to submit an offer. What I'd like to do is email that to both you and your solicitor. It includes signing an unconditional contract, and it also includes your solicitor signing a document to ensure that they've had a conversation with you that you have your finance approved. So I don't even mention the word 66W, otherwise you get into a 15-minute conversation about a 66W, which is a legal document, which basically their solicitor should be advising them on. So I forward that email and they have a conversation, and they either produce or they don't. Now, if my owner is open to offers prior to auction, then the response is a sharp contrast to that, but equally as effective and equally as transparent, which is, thanks, Adrian, I really appreciate you asking that. Now, my owner is a very motivated seller. There are multiple owners involved in this situation, so what they'd like to do is provide complete transparency on auction day, and they very much welcome your offer. However, it would have to be on the auction floor amongst other buyers as well. What they want to avoid is any Dutch auction scenario or any scenario that doesn't provide absolute transparency. And the auction's only 2.5 weeks away, so you've got plenty of time to do your due diligence, and I assure you nothing's going to happen without me talking to you. Oh, thank you, Adrian. I just got dudded on 2 or 3 properties where it sold before auction. I wasn't even given an opportunity. So I can't tell you how many referrals I'd get out of this. I can't tell you how many times I'd have this conversation with the buyers and they'd say, Adrian, you're the only person that's been straight with us. Can you come and view our property? Okay, there's my top 3 tips on what to include in your set to sell or expectation meeting for an auction listing. Live with virtue. God bless. And why do I say live with virtue? Because today or tomorrow there'd be an opportunity not to live with virtue, and it's easy to get seduced to either tell an untruth or to lie or to cheat or to talk behind someone's back. Just don't do it. Is that what you want your legacy to be? The sort of person that you're not a virtuous person? Be virtuous. See you next time.